On Gulls All Access, we'll introduce you to defenseman Keegan Lowe, and he takes you down on the ice to listen in from his perspective.
We're good, sort it out!
We'll help you get to know Nicolas Brouillard, including why he took a break in his hockey career to go to college. And the Gulls colony is doing great things to help San Diego's homeless. That and plenty more on the latest edition of Gulls All Access, presented by California Coast Credit Union.
For Carrick, wrap around.
Hello and welcome to Gulls All Access, presented by California Coast Credit Union. My name is Andy Zilch with BJ McPherson. The San Diego Gulls have some house cleaning, and we'll talk about some players that are coming in, some players that are made their way into the lineup. And BJ, let's start it off by talking about the former first rounder for the Anaheim Ducks, Braden Tracy. He goes back to the WHL after skating in 12 games with the San Diego Gulls, and it seems like it'll bode well for the youngster.
It will, and what it does is he's got a little bit of time in the American Hockey League. He's got that feeling. He knows how it is. But it's greater for him to get to go back to junior, and work on your craft and get ready for the next season.
A familiar face comes back to the team, and Brent Gates Jr. And if you recall last season, he went up to Grand Rapids, Michigan, played against the Griffins. That's his hometown, and he scored a game-winning goal. So it's great to see him back with the organization.
Well, the biggest thing in this organization is familiar people, right? You want to pull in a guy that can fit the system. He's been here, he's done it, he does the job well, so it's an easy fit to add to the team again.
And a player that we saw come into the lineup and skate in his first AHL game since we last talked to you fans on Gulls All Access is the netminder Ali Eriksson-Ek. He comes in and he plays a fantastic performance on Saturday a few weeks ago against the San Jose Barracuda. He gets back in the lineup again on a Sunday game against the Henderson Silver Knights, and the young rookie netminder BJ playing excellent to start his AHL career.
Well, you talked about it, Andy. What's crazy is, again, how young he is as a goalie. And goalies seem to mature a lot later than, I'd say, forwards and defensemen. But the way he plays in the net, he's as cool as an ice cube out there.
It seemed like the Gulls have had some trouble on the road. They went to San Jose, lost. They went to Bakersfield, lost. But if you want to look at a bright spot of those two games, the Gulls finished each game extremely well, and then they carried that, of course, into the Henderson game.
It's the starts. The starts haven't been the greatest this year. And again, it could set into being a mindset, but they're getting that mindset and they're throwing it away. The starts, they're going to get better. But the bright spot is, like you said, Andy, it's the way they were finishing the games.
And then to go along with that, let's touch on the home games, the most recent action that we've seen on the ice. The Tucson Roadrunners game saw a 4-1 loss. But, BJ, we did have a little bit of fighting going on, and I say a little bit just lightly because there was 3 fights, all of which during the second period. And I know that you love that facet of the game.
It's a part of the game, and it's Trevor Carrick. He really did it himself. 2 fights right there in the same period. But again, we need players like that to stay in the game. As much as I do talk about and saying I do like the fights, like anybody else, we need guys like Trevor Carrick to still be on the ice. And again, when a fight happens, it happens for reasons such as, to pump your team up, or it might have been some kind of a dirty play. You're taking care of yourself.
Well, let's talk about Sunday's game then, and against the Henderson Silver Knights. And the Gulls probably played their best game without getting a point this season.
You know what? You're going to have a game or two or even a few of those throughout a season where your team plays really well. But at the end of the night, you don't get the 2 points. But when they get 50 shots and you face a goaltender that's standing on his head, and you talked about it, Andy, a Dominic Hasek save in the game, that's tough when you throw that many shots up and you don't get rewarded with the win.
So, BJ, after a week long of practice, I'm sure that mentality from Sunday's game has got to carry over.
And again, it's a little weird right now having almost 5 days off before your next game. The way these guys have been playing, pretty much 2 games in 3 nights. They can play 3 in a row. To have a little bit of time off, It's going to help them get their mindset, get their body ready, and get ready for the Tucson series because they need to start on the road a little quicker. And that's what I look to see them doing when they get to Tucson.
Thank you, BJ. Now let's introduce you to an 8th-year pro and first year with the San Diego Gulls. Earlier, I was able to catch up with defenseman Keegan Lowe, who was originally drafted by the Carolina Hurricanes and now finds himself in Southern California.
Numbers! Take it, I got a pick. Get up! We're good, sort it out! Hey, cover Wazzy! You're good. Boy, battle, good flush. Good track, 16. Nice play, Colts. What do we got here? Oh, I'm on you. Oh, yeah. Right off my guy. Didn't you call 2 and then you switched it to 4?
I saw he was leaking. I didn't see he was leaking at first, Keegan.
Bite the lip, smart guy. Wow. Attaboy, Aggies. Attaboy, Gulls.
Welcome back to Gulls All Access presented by California Coast Credit Union. Today we're getting to know defenseman Keegan Lowe. And growing up in Edmonton, Alberta, and being the son of your father, Kevin Lowe, was there a pressure to play hockey growing up, or was it something that you just found a knack for right away?
Yeah, no, I can't say there was any pressure from my family. You know, my dad was a hockey player, my mom was a alpine skier, so maybe there's a little bit of a internal competition from them, which one I wanted to choose because I did both as a kid, but I loved hockey right from the get-go, and I knew that was kind of when I had to choose one of the two, I knew that would be the one I leaned towards for sure.
Then you move on and you are able to get drafted by the Carolina Hurricanes. What do you remember from those moments as you work your way into professional hockey?
You kind of see the rankings and talk to people, and you kind of get an idea of whether or not you're going to go. And you know, I wasn't getting my hopes up, but I was sitting there. My dad was obviously working at the time too, so you know, I was sitting up in the stands with my mom, and my dad was back and forth from their table to the seats, and just hearing my name called was pretty incredible. And you know, also a little bittersweet though, because you know, I was a diehard Oilers fan growing up, and the Hurricanes knocked them off in Game 7, almost crushed my childhood dreams in 2006 there. So that was kind of a funny scenario too.
Then you make your way over here to the San Diego Gulls, and you stay in the Pacific Division. How is that dynamic like for you? First of all, playing Bakersfield, a team that you spent 3 years with, but also seeing some of the familiar faces that have been in this division for maybe 3-4 years.
You know, playing against these guys for the last 3 years in this division. We had the playoff series against them with a couple long overtimes games. It was a pretty big battle that year. And there's a lot of those faces sticking around, so it was weird walking into the room the first time and shaking a lot of those guys' hands that we kind of went to war with for the last little bit. But I always admired the way the guys played here. You know, they're skilled and fast, but also they played that hard game, and they were always tough to play against. You never wanted to come into that barn because you knew it was going to be a long night. So, like I said, couldn't be happier to be on this side.
Stay high, Trace! Stay high, Trace! One coming. Trace, go that way. I got him! Hey! Go! Yeah, net! Stay left, Wazzy! Stay there!
It seems like you're very vocal on the ice and you give a lot of instruction. Is that something that you've always found comes second nature to your playing style?
Yeah, I think for sure. You know, just being on the back end and being able to see everything, I think communication is super important, and it's something that a lot of teams lack, and a lot of guys kind of have to learn, especially coming from the junior ranks. So the more I can communicate, I think the more I can keep my teammates informed on the ice, and I think it makes things easier for everyone around you. If you're out there and you're in front of the net and you're kind of not involved in the play, you're there to help your teammates and stay in it. And if, like I said, is going back to the leadership side of things, hopefully if other people see that from me and you know, it reminds them to communicate a little more, it makes the team, you know, flow a lot better, and you know, all good teams communicate well. So
if it's 89, we have to get it out of that drop guy's hand so he doesn't have that much separation. I'll go down, so if it comes there, come to the quiet ice so I can go back to you and you're covering me then. Let him know, Brew, let him know! Yeah, Wazzy, quick, quick!
How was this season meant to you on a personal standpoint, the fact that despite the pandemic, we're able to push through and still play hockey?
Oh, I mean, I touched on it a little bit before. It means the world to me. Everything was so uncertain the past, you know, year, I guess now, to almost this date. You know, not knowing when we were going to play again, and even up until a month before the season when the NHL was getting going, not knowing for sure when we were going to get going. So it makes you cherish every day at the rink, because if you ever took it for granted, being able to do what we do for a living, I can guarantee nobody's doing that right now. So it's awesome. Couldn't be happier to be in the rink playing. Hopefully get back in front of the fans sooner rather than later, because that's another tough thing about going into San Diego, was the fans were always loud and they were always all over you. So I was pumped to have them on my side for a little bit, and we know they're there, and can't wait to be back in San Diego.
Coming up, we'll meet one of Keegan Lowe's teammates, Nicolas Brouillard.
You have to be hard on forecheck, you have to be hard on backcheck.
And later, we'll begin our course on the game's lingo. We'll be right back. Tune in tomorrow night as the Gulls take on the Tucson Roadrunners at 5 o'clock. Check SanDiegoGulls.com for the complete broadcast schedule. As we look up to the NHL and the affiliate of the San Diego Gulls, the Anaheim Ducks, we also focus in on some recent Gulls that have made the jump to the NHL and have succeeded. Today we look at Troy Terry, who since the beginning of March has picked up 3 points in 4 games, including a 2-goal game against the Colorado Avalanche on March 6th.
He has just been terrific.
In addition, Isaac Lundestrom kicked off the month of March with his first ever NHL hat trick, scoring the 3 goals against the St. Louis Blues on home ice.
I think that might be the hat for Isaac Lundestrom. It is the hat.
And the most recent goal to make the jump to the NHL is forward Trevor Zegras, who was able to tally up 2 assists in a span of 3 games. First, he was able to help on a goal on March 3rd.
What a play.
Second, he was able to assist on a game-winning overtime goal on March 8th.
What a pass!
For the Ducks to defeat the Los Angeles Kings.
Zegras assists on the overtime game winner.
The organization has recently been hit with a myriad of injuries, and the San Diego Gulls are currently testing defensemen playing up at the forward group. Most recently, it's been Nicolas Brouillard, who has gotten the test on both defense and forward.
I played a couple of games in the East Coast 3 years ago at forward, so I kind of knew how to.
How do you change your game, or do you change your game when you go from defense to forward?
Yeah, of course you have to. I mean, it's really not the same. It doesn't work the same. You have to be hard on forecheck. You have to be hard on backcheck. So you have to kind of. I feel like my shit have to be a little smaller, a little shorter, because you give a lot more energy every shift. Especially the D zone. As a winger, you're kind of in the middle. You're protecting your point. That's not usual for me, but I kind of got the hang of it after the first game.
And Brouillard, 2 goals here tonight. The smaller type defenseman who's a gifted kid, certainly shown that he's got a touch to find the back of the net.
You played pro, you went to college, and now you're back at the pro level. What influenced you to step aside from the pro level and go to McGill University and attend there?
Yeah, that was a really hard choice. I had another opportunity with the AHL of the Vegas Golden Knights at that time, and I had to decide either I was going to keep playing pro or going back to university. I got a bad injury on my first year pro, which took me out 3 months, and I wasn't sure where, if I was gonna keep playing in the AHL or in the East Coast. And there was a couple of my friends that I knew that were back in McGill, and they were saying that it was a great program. They had a good team at that time, and so I decided to go do my degree. And so after that, you know, now that I'm almost done with my degree, I can enjoy hockey. And if hockey doesn't work for whatever reason at some point, well, I'll have my degree and something to turn back on.
What was the injury that you suffered?
Yeah, I got a bad high ankle sprain. I was out for 3 months. So most of the year I was in the East Coast. I signed with the Marlies, and most of the year I was in the East Coast. I got called back up.
Brouillard shoots, he scores. Brouillard ties the game up.
17 goals, 57 points last year. He picks up that loose puck.
And 3-on-3 overtime, someone fell on my leg, and that was it. So I finished the season injured, and I didn't play that year again. And that made me question a lot. So that's why I think I went to university after that. When I made that decision, a lot of people were surprised. People thought I was going to keep playing hockey, and hockey is what I love the most, and I'm still passionate about it. But I don't regret at all my decision. I think that those years at McGill were one of my best years that I had in my life. It just taught me so much, made me become a better player, and where I'm at right now. I think I just want to prove to everybody that I can play here, and it made me grow a lot going to university. I have 2 classes left. I have like 2 exams left actually. It's economics and management. From there, I finished my degree. Well, I'm going to finish it this April.
What drew you to sign with the San Diego Gulls? And I'm sure that you played under Urquhart for a season there at McGill. Did he have any impact on giving you positive vibes to come here?
For sure. We talked before I got here, and he just told me to come prepared and to come in good shape, and try to do my best here to gain my position in the lineup. He definitely helped me. I was supposed to, before COVID happened, actually, I had a great season at university, and I think one of the scouts talked to my agent, and they wanted to invite me to the Anaheim Ducks camp. Unfortunately, that didn't work out because of COVID. They had to restrict the number of players, but anyway, I got here, and I'm just glad I'm here now.
Time now to check back in with BJ McPherson as he breaks down some of the finer points of the game.
All right, to break down a few of the goals that the Gulls have just recently scored. The first one here is a 5-on-3. The defending team only having 3 players out there. They want to kind of throw the top of the pizza at you. That's the first 2 players. And what the Gulls do, Podolski down at the sidewall, he's holding on to that puck. Normally on a 5-on-4, you want the puck moving pretty quickly to get the defensive team, out of the way. But what happens is almost like a no-look pass that breaks the seam right across the goal mouth. And when you're able to get a pass right across like that, most of these players will put those in any day. Now the second power play goal is a 5-on-4. And Lettieri playing the point, he comes from side to side. Instead of putting it back to Drysdale, he goes right off to the sidewall to Podolski. You watch Podolski head up the whole time. He's waiting for the traffic to get in front of the net. He throws a pass right through the middle, breaks the box. Sam Carrick just turns his stick. Doesn't even stop the puck, deflects it. Agazzino coming in front, a little bit of a screen. Again, the pass from Podolski breaks the box. Sam Carrick just turns the blade of that stick. Again, this is one of those goals they set up in practice.
Coming up, more with BJ as he serves up some hockey lingo. And this week, it's pizza. And the Gulls colony is doing important work to help San Diego's homeless population.
It has some homeless outreach information in there so that they've got a place to resort to if they need a shower, if they just have questions or want to see what other services are available.
Stay with us as Gulls All Access, presented by California Coast Credit Union, continues. It's not too late to participate in Reading is the Goal. This year's virtual program is open to children of all ages as we aim to reach more students who may be participating in virtual learning this year. Registered participants will receive a Gulls bookmark and be eligible to win additional prizes. For more information, visit sandiegogulls.com/reading. Now our resident chef, BJ McPherson, helps us understand some hockey lingo.
All right, one of the sayings in hockey is pizza hot and fresh. Now, when you go to a pizzeria and you watch the pizza man make one, he throws it up in the air. And as a hockey player, in your own zone, sometimes you throw a puck blindly up the middle.
Reno gets it free. Bro shoots, scores!
Especially in your own zone. And when you're on the offensive team and you get one of those pucks that they just threw up the middle and you score, that's called threw a pizza up the middle.
Almost a pizza though. Almost. Biscuit for the biscuit, yeah.
Thanks, BJ. Well, although the team is in a bubble in Irvine, Gulls fans are still doing their part in San Diego. Recently, members of the colony, a dedicated group of Gulls supporters, got together to help the homeless.
Today we are at the San Diego Rescue Mission and we have some of our amazing colony volunteers out here. And we are packing these ICU kits. I'm just doing the first process of stuffing a little note card in here which gives them emergency phone numbers, notifications on where they can shower, get hot meals. And then I pass them along and we have an assembly line going.
We're putting toothbrushes and toothpaste and shampoo and just necessities, a mask and a pair of socks.
They are a way to engage with those experiencing homelessness and actually show them, hey, we see you and we acknowledge you. The other benefit is it has some homeless outreach information in there so that they've got a place to resort to if they need a shower, if they just have questions or want to see what other services are available.
It is awesome to be in the Gulls colony.
We're very grateful to have them and we just try and get out and stay out in the community and make our impact known because even though we're not playing down here, we still want people to know that we are a San Diego team.
That's all we have for this edition of Gulls All Access presented by California Coast Credit Union. Join us in 2 weeks as we'll get to know forward Andrew Podorowski and Chase DeLeo will take you inside the Gulls locker room at Great Park Ice and 5 Point Arena. For the cast and crew, my name is Andy Zilch. Thanks for watching Gulls All Access.